You can't wait to get out, can you? Locked solid.
Pasado conto pa.
Let's see.
Malang.
Choo-Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Seems like the world came out of its rut and is chugging toward higher ground again. Can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn the world chug around. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Choo-Choo. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. Says the Myriad tribe is known for their spiritual light. Wishes you goodbye. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. Are you ready for the night yet? Stay away from that biohazard. You'll want to wash yourself off for a month. Wheel the control box handles to buzz the wire. Wired up and ready to go. Clothes make you look unnaked. Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet. He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's had urgent news from his friend Wiz in the northwest. He's unsure about your intentions, but hopes you'll support Wiz. He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Wiz and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's hunch is real. The Merc Puff is up next. Out of Date says that Wiz is worried now that the Northwest World Eater is stepping up its activity. He explains that Wiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done. Out of Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He's happy to help. Says you'll see each other later. Here. Let's see. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, and the thicker the surf became with goo, the more the machinery clogged up and stopped working. Like most things from the bygone. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. It was a tragedy, but also sad that you chose to leave. It's a miracle you made it on the outside on your own. That land is harsh, they say.
Ano pa bang nigradyo mo?
Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again.
Inshallah, Fenja Aleke.
He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what.
Inshallah, Fenja Aleke.
He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay.
Kick them in the dark. That's the way.
The light's still here for you when you're ready.
Ha! Don't look back at that, loser.
Hey, that's not fair.
Well, the only people who whine about fairness are the ones that aren't winning.
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decision? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Thinks that kind of diversity brings strength. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him. He found it stranded on a shore nearby and got Gizmo to help tow it here so they could get to work on it. Toxanol probably made it to go under surf and see the damage they've caused for themselves. A story has got to keep moving forward. Don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here. Gonna need a key of some kind. That's more than stuck. There's no time to look back. Too busy moving on. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Your feet feel like you're wearing squishy sponges.
Uliana.
He believed the tug twister would do the trick.
Zum zum bath.
He agrees that it's an option if you want to break stuff, but in this case you want to keep things intact so it won't leak once you get under surf. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. It's big enough to make waves beneath the surface, and that's a challenge in itself. But it also has a hard shell, so you need to target its head. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugga-chugga. Says he knew you would, like he knows the way the rails run. This thing has a mighty... The Wingnut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. You're a long way from the sun. Your energy is empty. It's okay to smile at the growing light. Choo Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason, but he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of it's on the cart. He wants to keep it close by. In general, you won't have much time to act in case of an emergency. Choo Choo says you should help yourself to the grease. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its... He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need grease. Says he's glad to see it in good hands, rough as...
Oh, the light just... It hurts your eyes, am I right?
Life in the shade is cold.
It's the perf...
So you're agreeing?
Look, I'm grated through...
Choo Choo says he can't wait. Understands you have things. You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo Choo has no... Choo Choo says he feels strongly about helping his next. He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong... He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's... Figures everyone chooses their own path. The longer you ride the... Choo Choo's thrilled you found the Ark. Just imagine how much faster than a chug that thing must... Bets it could fly circles around any chug yard. The world's on the mend, so no need to leave it. But just think of all the places says he's happy to see the Ark in your hands. Wonders who you might call aboard the Ark with.
So, what we have here is an opportunity.
Why?
If you want to go...
But you know you can...
After spending a life on the rails, he's eager to ride the skies with you. Just let him pack his rollerboard. Choo Choo says he's ready to pack up and... Seems surprised. It's time to create your own path. Wiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merkpuff until the octopod is properly armed. He's happy to tell you that the cannon he's been working on now just needs ammunition. He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang. There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free. You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyro. Boom has named the place Puff Duff Bluff. It sounds silly, but it's an accurate description considering most of the pyros are duds, seeing as they're as old as the old world. You located the village named Loblidirk. Let's see. You're here for a reason. It's up to you to figure out what that is. That's a bang plant, where toxanol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces. Nothing's more important right now than this. That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. Always good to have some wood scrap like that on hand. No winter. The pyro sticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you.
Ne antum po nigarapo.
You should aim for the head. That's the...
Potia dar nilam.
Wiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyro sticks, it squirts guppos. Scaly distract...
Ne antum po nigarapo.
Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil. He has...
Non pagara ni pala.
This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom.
Potia dar nilam.
Tells you it's a sort of fish that's...